Hello, my loves. Welcome again to this community. I am your lovely host, the Miss Njeri, and this is the Black, Grey, White podcast where we share love and do life together. First and foremost, I just want to say that I'm so happy that I'm actually doing my second episode. I feel like this is just a dream come true for me, to be honest. Like, I had really held myself back from doing this. I felt like I kept on postponing to start this podcast. But now that tuko episode 2, I finally feel like I'm moving and I'm headed somewhere. So before anything else, let me first say something that I had said in my first episode. In the first episode, nilikuwa nimesema how, you know, when I reach my 100th episode, I'm going to go back and listen to my first, and that I was sure I was going to cringe. Wacha nikwambie, hata kukuwa na haja nifike episode 100. The cringe is here. The cringe is home. No, seriously, I listened to the first episode and oh my gosh, I mean, perfectionist me immediately wanted to redo it, but we are not doing that. It's really hard, by the way, to just go with the flow and just let things be and allow yourself to make mistakes if you demand a certain level of perfectionism, even just from yourself, yani. So wow, it's hard. To be honest, it was hard. It was hard listening to that first episode. But anyway, we move and we learn. We live and we learn. So I'm happy that I'm here. And so let me just get right into this episode. Today we're going to talk about 2022. This is just a recap of the year that was. It's funny, I actually feel like I haven't yet started my 2023. Like, na feel ni kama 2022 imeisha, but I feel like I'm in my incubation stage of this year of 2023. I kind of feel like it hasn't yet started for some weird reason. Yeah, but anyway, today we're talking about a recap of 2022, the year that was. And what a year that was. What a year that was. First of all, let me acknowledge that right now in our, in our late 20s, because I'm in my mid-late 20s, life looks so different for all of us. Yani, all of us, life looks so different. But I'm going to talk about that in my next episode. But for now, let's just recap the previous year. So I think I'm just going to divide it into categories, into topics. I'm going to talk about work and finances, and then I'm going to talk about relationships, that is personally, socially, and romantically. Yeah, let's say that. So relationships, and then also personal goals, the personal goals that I had for 2022. And then, yeah, I'll round it up. So firstly, personal, social, and romantic relationships. Hapo kwa romantic nitaguzilia tu kidogo, sijaonja mapenzi sana, kidogo tu. Yeah, but first 2022, mimi 2022, oh Jesus Lord. I think by the time ilifika October, really I just wanted the year to be over. I wanted mwaka ishe, niingie tu mwaka ingine, which is funny, but then now that I'm saying that, juu nimetoka tu kufikiria kusema tu saizi venye, I feel like my year has not yet begun, and like my previous year had already ended. Let me tell you, I couldn't wait for my year to end by October. Yani, I knew I had already lived 13 months of 2022, and it was about time. Seriously, it was about time. But 2022 socially for me was a very different year. And first of all, actually, in general, my year was different from all other years. But anyway, let me just go pole pole. Nacha niende na motaratara. So socially for me, it was such a different year. I'm such a social butterfly. Yani, mimi, I love being out there. I love being with people. I love interacting with people. I love meeting new people. I love the outdoors. I usually say that I'm an introvert, but I also love outdoors. Yani sipendi, napenda nikiwa ndani ni time yangu, lakini pia siwezi jisustain na time yangu peke yake, like I'm not alone. I don't like being alone. I do enjoy spending my time in my space and alone and do my things and just be indoors. But I am a social butterfly. I don't know if you can say that you're an introvert and you're also a social butterfly. Sijui kama hao ndo wanaitangwa ambiverts. Like, I don't know if a social butterfly is like an extreme, extrovert. I'm not an extreme extrovert, but I do love my extroverted side. It's a very, very big part of me. So 2022 had me in the house. Yani, acha kwanza niweke tu hivyo. Before hata niweke maua, nirembeshe hiyo statement, niseme sijui nini. Mimi 2022, I don't think kuna mwaka nimekuwa indoors kama 2022. I think the last time was this much indoors ni maybe nikiwa boarding. Hiyo hata i make sense, hata tu kwa indoors boarding. Juu at least ulikuwa unaenda class, alafu ulikuwa na dorm. Juu full stop nini ingine unafanya shule, si ni class na dorm. But yani nilikuwa na feel ni kama I'm in a confined environment. Actually, I think that's what I'm trying to say, niki compare it to boarding. I was in a confined environment. I was in one place. I felt like my whole year, I have lived my whole year in one place. Fun fact, as I'm going, imagine, believe it or not, nimeenda tao 6 times the whole year. Like 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nimekanyanga town 6 times. And though I've been self-employed na sijakuwa in employment really, still I make sense ati nimekuwa tao mara 6. Si ati nilikuwa mgonjwa, si ati nilishindwa kuenda, si ati, but nimekuwa tao mara 6 mwaka mzima. That's insane. To me, that's absolutely insane. Remember, I've called myself a social butterfly a second ago, a minute ago. It's insane that I was in town only 6 times. So 2022 nilijipata nikiwa indoors sana sana sana, and the biggest reason for that, I would say it inaguzia with my work and with my finances, but I'm gonna talk more about that in my next point as I'm going, yani. So with now being indoors, it also meant that I couldn't see my friends a lot. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my friends. I couldn't, if sikuenda tao, inamaanisha pia sikuenda to other towns, yani. So I didn't travel. I didn't, I have friends in other towns. We didn't meet up. We didn't see each other. Yani, in short, I felt like this was my disappearing year. You know how nimekuwa nikiwa naona social media, these posts or like videos of people saying you need like 6 months to disappear, sijui what. I think that was my year last year. And funny thing, it wasn't intentional. For me, I think kama ningetaka tini disappear, I think ingekuwa a very intentional move. For me, it wasn't intentional. When I ingiad, gasheri, English ilikuja na meli. Wa, ningesema tu venye niliingia. Venye niliingia 2022, I was so pumped about that year. Like it was supposed to be my year of money, of elevation, of what, of growth. I was pumped. I was pumped. I was pumped for the year. I knew that I was going to have a good year, but I don't think nilikuwa nime-analyze your goodness itatoka from wapi. I think in my head, and I think maybe ni juu ya venye how my 2021 was, but I thought my goodness itatoka from the things that that ilikuja nazo from 2021, and that is like being out there, interacting with people, just yani I was out there. That's what I'm trying to say. I was out there, and 2022 was the complete opposite for me, yani. So I didn't get to spend time with my friends, which I would have really, really wanted. My friends and my family and just people who are close to me are a very big part of me as a person. I really cannot function without the people in my life, yani. And if you're listening to this and you're part of those that circle, those people, you need to know this if I don't tell you enough. I really can't function without my people, like my family, my friends, just people around me that I closely interact with. They are very, very close to me. And 2022 really proved to me, yani, that life inaweza kaa different sana. Acha nikwambie, unaweza panga kitu moja ama unaweza fikiria itakaa hivi ama itakuwa hivi, and then Mungu ni nani? God shows you that there's your plan and there's his plan. So God's plan for me, I really didn't see it coming. So even though I didn't get to, spend time with the people that are very close to me, I also got a chance to form new friendships. There's one particular person, sijui ni mention tu jina. Wacha nisi-mention jina. Maybe he's a very private person. Naeza mention jina aseme ni cancel hii episode. But I made a good friend. We spent a lot of time together for like 3-4 months, which was a very significant time of my life. Yeah, juu nilikuwa home mostly. I think that was a very, very good distraction, yani, or not even distraction. Acha tuseme I formed a different branch in my social life. Yeah, let me put it that way. Yeah, I developed a different branch in my social life. Niliweza kuinteract na watu differently, yani in a close knit environment, yani environment tu mmetulia, hakuna story mob, you're just mna interact, ni kama venye you see how you interact with your sister, like your sibling, like mkiwa watoto, mkiwa wadogo, mumekaa tu mnakula lunch, sijui mna watch Dancomania. That's the kind of interaction I'm talking about. So I also formed 1-2 new friendships, which was great. Yeah, I'm grateful for that at least. With being indoors too, it also means that you're spending a lot of time with yourself. I think I've never spent as much time with myself as I did last year. I definitely sat with and in my thoughts the longest I have ever, yani, for the 26 years that I have lived, yani. Zile mafikira nimekuwa nazo hiyo mwaka moja ni mingi kuliko zote zenye nimekuwa nazo for the other 25 years nimekuwa kwa hii dunia. In short, that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm really, really grateful for that because it saw me do. It saw me do. Hiyo ni Kiingereza kweli? It had me. Hey, si saw me, ni had me. Hey. Where? Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Anyway, I'm saying it had me do a lot of personal work, a lot of shadow work, and I'm so grateful for that. But if anything, I'm grateful for the personal growth and the shadow work that I did in my 2022. I just, by the time mwaka ilikuwa inaenda kuisha, hiyo time nakwambia Oktoba, nimefeel ni kama, nililive like 13 months. By the time Oktoba ilikuwa inafika, I felt like I was a different person. Like, oh Jesus, I don't even know how to put it other than kuisema tu hivo. I truly felt like I grew into a different person. And this actually started when I turned 25. Before I turned 25, now this was 2021, I remember telling my friends, I feel like there's a supernatural shift that is happening. Like with me mentally, psychologically, even physically, by the way. Like I felt there was a supernatural shift. There was just this magnetic pull, like taking me from one part to another, like ilinivuta tu kwa part ingine. Like I just felt like I was a different person. So the fact that I experienced that first 2021, and that was the mood that nilikuwa nayo, as from August that year going now into 2022, I had not foreseen how much that new shift and that newness inge bring like so much goodness to my life. I had really not predicted, yani. I had not predicted that, and I could not even, if anything, I could not predict it, even if ningeifikiriaje. Truly, I could not have predicted it. But I'm so grateful that that happened for me because, wow, like, wow. As in, unajua unafikanga stage fulani kwa life, unafikanga age fulani, and then you look back, unajiangalia hata 2-3 years back, and you can almost hardly recognize yourself. Actually, that's what I'm saying. I can almost hardly recognize myself because you go through so much changes and so many shifts, and you almost feel like you are reborn. So for me, 2022 was like my year of being reborn. Yeah. Let me mention a few things that I learned. Um, just conclusively without saying so much, but with all the shadow work and and the personal work that I did for myself, I'm so happy that I was able to achieve a few things. They might seem ni kama ni kawaida things, but for me, I felt like nilizi what am I trying to say, nilizi root ndani yangu, yani they are now part of me. In short, they are now part of me. First thing was patience and grace. Let me just put them together. Patience and grace. Oh Jesus, oh Jesus. Ukisikia mpaka nimeita Mungu, ujue kuna roho ingine, siko peke yangu sasa, kuna roho ingine inaongea. Given that 2022 was such a slow year for me, I really had to learn to be patient with myself, yani, and with my journey. If you're like at a place in your life or in a season where you feel like things are moving slowly, oh, let me tell you, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of grace to carry yourself, yani kuallow vitu happen venye zina happen. Actually, I think nikisema grace hivyo ndo namaanisha. It is the grace to allow yourself to be, allow yourself to understand what season you're in, allow yourself to move with it, to trust yourself also that you are in control of your life even when things seem like they're everywhere. Because that's what 2022 was like for me. I felt like things were nowhere and they were everywhere. I know that kind of doesn't make sense, but truly I felt like things were everywhere, but they were also nowhere. So I had to really practice patience and grace, and also to trust myself, which was really, really, really hard. It was really hard because the whole year felt empty. Like as I was going through it, it felt empty, which is funny, by the way, because I think halfway through the year, like at around like mid-year, like July, June, August, there, I think there's a time, I think I mentioned this to my sister and I told her, I don't know if it's my sister or it's my best friend, but I mentioned it to someone and I told them that this year feels like I won't realize the impact of this year mpaka nitoke kwa hii mwaka. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I just felt like I was on a cloud. I was just moving. I can't even explain it. Like I was just moving, but going nowhere. Actually, that's it. I felt like I was moving, but going nowhere. So I knew that the impact yenye hii mwaka, hiyo mwaka imekuwa nayo kwa life yangu, I felt like I was going to realize it later. That I mentioned love somewhere huko juu. I know hakuwezi kosa one or two people who are there thinking, kwani haufiki hii part ya mapenzi? Kwani ufiki? Kwani hutaki kutuambia what you are up to? I don't know why I'm laughing like a child. Why am I shy to talk about these things? Why do I feel like I'm nervous? Why am I laughing? This is nervous laugh. No, but anyway, 2022 was such a great year for me in terms of relationships, romantic relationships. I am so happy that I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and that was being single the whole year. When one of my resolutions or my goals for the year was to not get myself into a relationship. And I'm not saying that I did not have something casual or not talk to anyone or no. Not get myself into a relationship. But also that means that any, like people who were, mtu mwenye alinikatia 2022, in short, hatukuenda more than 1 week. Because at the end of the day, I knew that I wouldn't give them what they probably wanted, and especially I'm talking about now love and intimacy and all those kind of things. So I'm happy that the year ended without me committing. I did come close to, being in one. Let me just mention that. By coming close, I met someone I could date. Yeah, let me put it that way without having to say so much. I met someone I could date, and without even getting into the nitty-gritties of what transpired between us, at the end of the day, like, even when I went back to my board, to like do step one, I just went back to my drawing board. I realized it doesn't even matter what is transpiring between me and this person, because at the end of the day, I had literally prayed to God and told him, look, please do not send my husband this year. Don't send my husband in 2022, Lord, please. And even because of that, like at the back of my mind, and nilikuwa najiambia, whoever it is ataletwa, huo si bwanangu huyo. That's not the person I'm gonna end up with. And if they are, maybe God wanted me to meet them during this period for a reason, maybe to test my commitment to myself, maybe to, probably just have time to establish friendship first. I don't know, for whatever reason. I had told God I didn't want a relationship and I didn't want him to send love. So let's just say that, I don't want to say that I feel bad that it didn't work out, truly. If anything, I'm grateful that I was able to stick to myself, to stick to the commitment that I had made for myself. But hey, Sugar, how are you? I know you're listening to this. I know you're listening to this. He's a great guy, by the way. Actually, let me say what I learned from that interaction between him and I. Of course, I'm not going to mention his name, but let me say what I learned from our interaction together. I think I got to experience somebody in a different light. I don't know if it's now that I'm more grown, like tuko age tofauti, love does not look like what it looked like in our early 20s. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just my different approach now that I feel like I'm having a different approach now to relationships and men and intimacy and, all those kind of things. So I don't know if it's that, but I would say he taught me, I experienced intimacy in a different way. In my early 20s, like not even early 20s, mostly actually teens and early 20s, like for me, if I don't feel like, I don't know how to put it, if I don't feel like you're giving me an out of body experience, if I don't feel like I'm high on fucking cocaine and opium, then you're not loving me, right? Then this is not love. Then I don't love you and you don't love me. But I think, that short period that I got to interact with this person, it really proved to me that actually I'm approaching relationships differently, because now I think, or rather I feel, that love should be slow and safe and calm and collected, and just love should feel like just like a breeze, like a nice cold breeze, na si ile yenye nakufanya ushiva, ile yenye kuna kajua but iyo breeze sio like si moto, like it's just like a ni kama unapulizwa yadi, ni kama unapulizwa. I'm glad that that experience taught me that and was able to show me. I was able to see that there's a different way to be loved, and if anything, I feel like that is the right way to, not even to be loved, to experience love. So I'm glad that I got to see that. I'm glad that we had formed a friendship for a couple of months, like literally like a whole year. We had been talking, just ile tu juju tu, like. So even though at the end of the day, I knew this is not something that I wanted to pursue at this moment in time because of my own reasons, and I had to let it go. I didn't only let it go because of my personal reasons. Also, there were other factors in there, but I'm just glad that I got to experience it. And yeah, if he's for me, God is going to send him back or send me back to him. But for now, I'm still on that path. I'm still on the singlehood path. I'm still on the singlehood path. And I'm sorry by the way to watu wenye walinikatia 2022. You know, I got some very interesting DMs in 2022 because it was funny because I was also not active on social media. So I got some really interesting DMs in 2022. But it also tested me. It tested my commitment to myself. I don't know if I'm repeating myself at this point. If you feel like I'm repeating myself, please forgive me. Please forgive me. So zingine mdomo yangu inaraningi tu, even though I try to collect my thoughts yani and najaribu ziflow, sometimes najipatanga tu nimesema tu vitu mob nimejirudia. So forgive me too, please forgive me. But yeah, I'm sorry to the guys who tried to hit on me in 2022. I think most of them they probably thought I was snobbish or I was just not interested. I don't know. I don't know. I can only assume, I can only imagine. But yeah, when I'm ready, nikirudi soko nita announce. Nitasema niko soko. But for now, siko soko, and I'm glad that 2022 happened the way it happened in that aspect. So I feel like I've talked a lot, so much about my personal life and social life and nini and relationships. Now let me talk about money. Ooh, Jesus. I could scream, I could cry, I could wail, I could laugh. I don't even know what to say. I could, oh gosh, to be honest, I don't know what to say. 2022 showed me that I'm not the shit. If I ever thought or ever believed that I can always have my shit together, 2022 ni nani? Let me tell you, I have never been as broke as I had been in 2022. Like, bro. But acha niende tu pole pole. How my year started? Actually my ears, wow, now that I'm thinking about it, ni kama na realize saizi. Now that I'm thinking about it, my year generally just started with struggle. It started with struggle, and it's almost as if that was the theme of my year in terms of money. Just struggle and instability. Because how I ushered in 2022, I had just nilikuwa nimetoka kulipa mtu pesa yenye hata sikuwa nimetumia. Ushaiomba, ebu imagine this, umeomba mtu pesa. Imagine umechukua loan mahali and then your pesa ibiwe na una have kulipa. So umekopa mahali 30,000, ulikuwa unafaa kuirudisha, na of course utairudisha lakini haujatumia hiyo pesa. In short, lose 60,000 in short, because you didn't use that money, and kuna mtu mahali ama kuna institution mahali, kama ni bank kama ni whatever, kuna sako mahali inangoja uirudishe hiyo pesa. So that's how my year started. In short, there was nilianza mwaka na dent. In short, nilianza mwaka na dent, but work was fine. Nilikuwa najipick tu pole pole, and to be honest, I had a lot of hopes for that year. To be honest, like, even though I started with, struggling, I didn't predict that would be the whole theme for the whole year. So generally, what I'm trying to say is, my year financially, I had the most unstable year. I have never been as broke as I was in 2022. Na acha nikwambie kitu moja about being broke. Hauwezi ficha. Unajua huwezi ficha kama una pesa, huwezi ficha. It shows hata venye unakaa physically. Naweza kuangalia hivi, yani mtu anaweza jua tu wewe hujakaa vizuri. Wewe kwenye huko wewe ukuli nyama. Wewe unakula ugali na chai. Mtu anaweza ona. Like, hata wewe mwenyewe ukajiangalia kwa kioo unaweza ona, haya hapa siko sawa. You live and lose weight. Like, I went through like 2-3 different phases of losing weight during my year, during 2022. And I'm slim. Naturally, I'm a slim person. Like, nikisema I'm slim, I'm a size 4'6". You can imagine, sasa you're now down to size 0. Mtu anashinda, kwani msichana kwenye nalalanga wapi? Umeparara uso, hata si uso, umeparara tu. Mimi nakwambia kama una pesa unaparara tu. Like, unaparara. Actually, I thank God I'm able to make my own hair, because hata ningenyoa, Juu sasa kama una 2000 ya kwenda salon, at least 2000 as in, yeah, 2000. Kama una 2000 ya kwenda salon every single month, utaparara siste, utanyoa nywele. Actually, I have a friend of mine, at one time, a few years back, like, she was going through such a hard moment. She had to, like, she was going through a hard time in her life. She had to shave her hair. Because una realize, yo, 2,000, 1,000, 1,500, 3,000, however much you use to make your hair, it is an extra cost. Na saa zingine I don't think siu kubali, hata si ati siu kubali. Actually ni hivyo, we don't acknowledge how much it takes to maintain yourself as a lady. I'm telling you, it's a lot of money. Like kama una pesa, huwezi afford kutengeneza kucha, huwezi afford kuwax, huwezi afford kutengeneza nywele, you can't go for manis and pedis, you can't, like, bro, you can't, you always, as in, kama ulikuwa na skincare routine, isahau. Unaelewa? Kama sijui ulikuwa unatumia, sijui uko na mafuta sijui ya elbows na mafuta ya magoti na sijui ointment sijui ya eyelashes, sahau. You cannot afford so much when you're broke, you know? But, oh, and also, I'm not ashamed to say this. You know, I've also realized that people are not comfortable when they're talking about things like this. Like, ebu try one day when you're broke, or if you have, ebu niambie how people reacted to it. Like when you're broke and you tell people, mtu amekuinvite mahali unawambia tu, no, it's not a good time for me, I'm not gonna be able to, nini. There's a way people perceive and react to finances, like especially if you don't have. It's such a, yani, reaction yao inakuanga, it's like an ick. Like they feel it's like as if it's an ick. But anyway, that's not the point. My point is I have never been as broke as I was in 2022. Nini hizo nasema? In 2022. So one major thing about how my year was financially was that I quit my job. So hata hii nikisema I was broke, I was nini, this was a very intentional move that I made. I was self-employed. Mimi nimekuwa, for the last 2 years, I was in the online writing industry. And let me tell you. You see, I'm even laughing. Hii ni ile kicheko ile ya kilio. Hii ni kicheko ya kilio. The number of times, not even the number of times, the times that I've been approached by people who wanted to, to learn something or to ask questions or just to inquire about the online writing industry. I think perception ya watu inakuanga tu, hey, watu online writing wanakuanga na pesa. We, hebu nionyesha hata mimi venye mnatengeneza hii pesa. Nasikia watu huko ni mamilionea, nasikia watu huko nene. Truth be told, it is a good industry. People are making money. People are, are feeding their families, are paying school fees. Like, easy industry ati ikona tu sijui watu wa campus ama watu wametoka campus. No. Like, me, I've met people in their 40s and their 50s, like doing online writing and just online work. Like, it is a booming industry and I know guys are making money out of it. But, and this is a bigger but than my but. That was unnecessary, Njeri. Oh gosh. I don't know why I say that. Sometimes I'm intentionally cringe. But what people don't tell you is the struggle, the other side of online writing, the frustrations that come with this job. Ask anybody who has ever lost money. Ask people who have lost accounts. Oh my days. Let me tell you, I think in those 2 years, nilihesabu nikahesabu pesa, nikaona the amount of money I've lost and the amount of money I've gained. In short, it was not worth it for me at the end of the day. Like, and actually it wasn't even just about money. It was like nilikuwa nasikia kama naanza kupata blood pressure. Cause oh my gosh, no. Sijui kama nazataka kujirudisha hiyo place tena, but I quit my job anyway. I just felt like I was losing more than I was gaining, and I needed to be out of work, for a while. And I decided for a few months I needed to remind myself of a few things. But I'm also grateful that experience your period. So I was jobless for 7 months, and I'm so grateful. Actually, it's funny that I'm saying this, and before, like ungeniuliza, like ningejisikia nikisema hivi before nianze hiyo process, hiyo journey, I don't think ningejiamini, ningejisikiza, but it was such a great experience for me. I'll talk about this later in other episodes, because when I start kuichambua, I'm gonna end up talking about other things zenye hazihusiani na hii episode. But I'm grateful that I got to experience what I experienced in those 7 months. But yeah, in short, it was a very difficult year for me. Even before I quit my job, like katikati ya mwaka, those 6 months, oh my days, those 6 months were too turbulent. Like it was so much instability, loss, gain, and it was everywhere. The scale was just everywhere. It was everywhere. It was too much for me. So another thing about being broke is people I don't think realize or accept how it affects your surrounding, your relationships, your life. Like for example, hapo mbele nilikuwa nimesema I wasn't able to spend a lot of time with my friends. I wasn't able to travel. I wasn't able to do a couple of things. If you don't have money, that's what your life will look like. Like unaweza kuwa tu uko na beshte yako, mnaishi a stone throw away from each other, ako tu pale. Lakini kama yeye once every 2 weeks anaendanga sijui lunch with who, or they go out, or sijui they do what, you won't be able to do these things, and you'll have to allow life to happen for other people without you relating to it, without you feeling like you're missing out, without you, you have to completely remove yourself from all those other equations. Ati mulikuwa mna hang out na marafiki wako, sasa wewe hauko kwa hiyo equation anymore. Na ukumbuke hufai kusikia vibaya. Kumbuka hivyo. Kumbuka hufai kusikia vibaya. Kumbuka like unafaa ujikumbushe ati hii journey ni yako wewe peke yako. Unafaa ujikumbushe ati your other friends can meet and hang out and you won't be invited, or you won't be able to go. Unafaa realize that inaweza fika hata mahali watu waache kukuinvite places, watu waache kukuengage in certain conversations, juu hata maybe wanaogopa, na sasa juu sheria hajakuwa job, tunaweza kuwa tunasema hapa venye sijui tulienda wapi ama sijui tulifanya nini, inaweza kuwa hata nasikia vibaya. It's such a murky place to be in, because you also realize that people will relate with you differently. Na hata saa zingine hata si kwa ubaya. Venye nimesema, sasa mko na mabeshte wako, maybe 1 month ago sijui walikuwa wameenda sijui Mombasa, na wewe hukuenda. Sema hata mlikuwa mmeplana year before that, but wewe hiyo time, by the time hiyo time inafika, sema tu haujaweza tu, yani financially hauko stable, hauko able, na hizo plans zilikupita. Sasa the next time mnapatana, sasa watu wana recap venye cost ilikuwa. Of course, watafeel a certain way. I think it's just normal. Your friends, your family, your nini, people around you will start relating to you in a different way. And usually when I hear people say this statement, it's inakuanga na a negative connotation to it. Na sometimes sio hivyo. Juu una-expect watu una-expect wakuambie nini, una-expect wa interact na wao aje, una-expect. Like unataka mabeshte wako sasa wafanye nini? Juu hawezi kuwa wanakuinvite kila mahali. Nani anakushughulikia? Nani anakusimamia? Sasa itafika place unaanza kufeel kama maybe as in kuinteract na wewe ni people are walking on eggshells, because they are afraid. They don't know how you'll feel, how you're thinking, how you are, how it's such a funny place to be in, by the way. It's such a funny place. But the thing with me, and I'm grateful that I was able to do this, I think I know how to communicate things with my friends, and like to just nitasemaje. In short, I'm trying to say I wouldn't say that my friends or my people in my circles felt bad that I was in the situation that I was in. I really embraced where I was at. I fully embraced, I fully embraced that season. if anything, I considered it a season. And I allowed people who are in my life to know and to understand that my situation has nothing to do with them, and their situation also has nothing to do with me. And it's funny also because this year, given that it was my brokest year, everybody around me got jobs. Like, there was just money everywhere. It was like a season of money for everyone, yani. And if you can imagine, if you've never been in such a situation, you can imagine it could be difficult for you if you have no money and your friends wako huko, they're getting jobs, they're getting promotions. Life is not the same. Maisha yako na maisha yao haikai the same. Kama mlikuwa, if you had a friend, used to go for nail dates, sasa surely gasheri, sasa nail dates ni nini? I'm trying to say, like, maybe you used to have self-care dates together. I used to go to nail parlors, or you get a massage together. You can't do those things together anymore. Juu una expect nani atakulipia? Ni rafiki yako. But also haimaanishi ati juu wewe huwezi tengeneza kucha zako ati rafiki yako huwezi tengeneza kucha zake. Atatengeneza kucha zake. So I think what I'm trying to say is, I'm glad that even with my communication with my friends and with our interaction, I made sure to let them know that you can live. Usifeel ni kama na miss out. Yani hata ukijifikiria with anything to do with money, usinifikirie. Kama ni kwenda sijui mnataka kuenda Mombasa, pangeni. Hata msiniconsider, msifikiria ati naweza kuwa na miss out, naweza kuwa nasikia vibaya. Mnataka kwenda coast, and then coast. Ati you guys are going for lunch. That's good. I'm happy to see that life is happening for you, regardless of what life looks like, kwa watu wenye wako around you. So yeah. So let me say the greatest lessons that I learned to do with money and finances, kulingana na venye how my 2022 was. The greatest lesson I learned was contentment. I don't know, I hope there's a word like that. Saa zingine Kiingereza mkumbuke ilikuja na mbili. Saa zingine mimi inanilemeanga tu. Saa zingine nasemanga vitu nashindangwa. I really doubt myself, by the way. Hizi vocabularies unilemea saa zingine, but anyway, contentment. And out of all the things that I learned, or that nilitoka nazo hiyo mwaka, I think it has to be my best lesson. It has to be the best and the greatest thing that I learned, and I made it part of myself. To be able to accept where you are at, to acknowledge, to accept it, and to be okay with it, to find happiness with where you're at, to find happiness in your situation. It's such, I can't even explain. It's, that feeling is equal to a full stomach. Unajua venye unashibanga. Hebu imagine umekula your favorite meal, umekula kapilao, umekula avocado hapo kagwak, umekulikwa mpaka na kakuku kamepikwa hapo vizuri, umekunywa kasoda. Oh, Jesus. Umerelax, sasa una watch movie. Do you know how good that feeling feels? Hiyo feeling ya kushiba. That's what contentment gives you. Ni kushiba, unasikia ni kama umeshiba na wewe, umeshiba na maisha yako. Na kusema kushiba si kumaanisha comfortability, si comfort. Ni kukubali na kufind peace, na kufind joy, na kufind happiness, kwa hiyo contentment yako. To be honest, that is the best thing I learned, or I got from that experience. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to carry myself with so much grace, wow, and so much patience and so much contentment, during such a difficult period of my life. I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy. Actually, I was reading my journal towards the end of the year, and one thing that was so constant throughout the year, which is so funny, considering how turbulent and unstable and difficult my year was, throughout my journal, I cannot even remember how many times I read it. How many times I read or I wrote the way I was happy and the way I had so much joy and so much peace. Oh my gosh, yani. In short, nilikuwa nimeshiba. My spirit was full. My spirit and my soul were full, yani. And it's funny because I felt, not even I felt, in reality, I lacked so much. I almost lacked everything. I lacked so much, but I also had so much. Like in me, oh my gosh, oh wow. What I lacked, by the way, in the outside, I had it in the inside. That's for sure. That is for sure. What I lacked, nanje, I had it nandani. And I think going forward, I will carry that lesson. Yani, it is part of me. That's what I'm trying to say. Learning contentment and having it in my life has now become such an integral part of whom I am, because life can be some life nataka kusema nini, life can look like A right now, and then the next minute it's B, and before you know it, 2 weeks down the line, life is G, and then 1 year later, life is back at A. Like, you cannot predict what life will look like at any given point in the future. So it's very, very important that you learn, that everyone learns, or rather, let me not even include other people in this. It's important that I learned to be contented in what I am, in who I am, in what I have, in what I don't have, in where I'm at. I found so much peace in finding contentment with myself and in myself. I found so much joy, so much peace, and so much happiness. So conclusively, I'll just say that's what my year was like. It was a year of struggle. It was a year of being alone. It was a year of instability. Oh my gosh, it was a year of joblessness, ya kuparara. Uwi, guy, hata sijui niseme nini. We, mpararo. But also it was a year of so much joy and so much peace and so much happiness. Yeah, and I'm just so grateful of the year that I've had, to be honest. It was such a beautiful year for me. Yadi, it was an amazing year. That's all I can say. 2022 for me was an amazing year. Conclusively, it was an amazing year. Hata sasa nijiebishe, unajua nilikuwa na resolutions nilikuwa nazo nikiingia 2022. So let me see how much I achieved. So I had, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I had written down things that I wanted for the year. These were not even resolutions. They were things I wanted for the year, what I want this year. Even ndo nilikuwa nimelabel hiyo nini. So what I want this year, this was my list. So number 1 was to buy a phone. Number 2, to buy a laptop. Number 3, to start and maintain a saving culture. Number 3, to not commit to a relationship, in brackets, no man for you this year, sweetie. As in literally nilijiandika hivyo. Next one, to start building my wardrobe. The next one, to kickstart my YouTube. The next one, to start working out and eating well. The next one, to take care of my hair more. And the last one, to finally move out. I would say conclusively that success rate, nasema nini sasa, I'd give my year a good 75%. Like, let me say 75. I didn't get to achieve a lot of what I wanted to, but I think I achieved a lot of what I hadn't even planned to achieve. But on this list, I bought a phone, I didn't buy a laptop, I did start and maintained a saving culture. Yes, I know I have said I was broke, lakini niliingia chama, which was the best decision of my life. And thank God for that chama. Juu ndo chama ilifanya ninunue simu. Yes. Big up to my mom. Shout out to my mom. Hizo chama za wamama. Oh, niliingia chama wa mama. Unapea tu mamako tu pesa na kutolea tu chama na kwambia bedhe unakula date fulani. So I'm grateful that I was able to do that. I also did not commit to a relationship. Start building my wardrobe. I can't consider that I started because yeah, sikuanza in short. Sasa sikuwa na pesa za kununua vitu mingi. In short, I didn't achieve that. To kickstart my YouTube, so I consider this as a goal I achieved because later on in the year, I decided to, I decided to start podcasting. I'll do YouTube later, but yeah, to kickstart my podcast. So yes, that is a goal achieved for sure. To start working out and eating well. Working out for who? For who? For who? Tuseme tu nilikula. Tuseme tu nilikula na niko na, yani, I'm healthy. Tuseme tu hivyo. To take care of my hair more. I'm so glad I got to do this. Oh my gosh. Actually, this is one of the best things I did for myself in terms of taking care of myself. And I'm almost 1 year in since I decided to take care of my hair more. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And the last point was to finally move out, which I was not able to do. Of course, huwezi kuwa umesota hivyo, and then from nowhere I have 400,000 to move out. So yeah, that didn't happen, which is fine. You can always re-strategize and you can always replan. You can always carry forward by the some of your plans. So I don't actually beat myself too much about not achieving some things. Sijipeangi stress sana. Acha niseme tu hivyo. I'll give my year a good. Actually, I'd said 75,000 lie. I'm gonna give it 80%. Oh, yes, I succeeded in 2022. That's what I'm saying. Conclusively, I succeeded in 2022. Oh, wow. So yeah, I think that's it. That was my last point, and wow, I've been recording for such a long time. I'm so, 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 so grateful. By the way, if umefika mpaka hii point kwa hii episode, if you see me on the street, just please tap me and ask for a very big warm hug. I cannot even begin, Yani. I don't even know how to show gratitude. To be honest, I don't know. Like, all I'm just trying to say is that I'm so happy that umeweza kusikiza hii episode mpaka mwisho. I'm so, 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 so grateful. And I hope, by the way, kama umefikisha hii episode hapa mpaka mwisho, I hope you have subscribed, by the way, to this podcast. I hope you have subscribed everywhere, or let's just say wherever you're listening from. In case you don't know, this podcast is everywhere. I'm on Google Podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Stitcher. We are on Radio Public. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube. Kwanza YouTube. Subscribe there. Support me. But even with the kidogo that I have right now, to be honest with you, I am so grateful. Thank you so much for being part of my journey. Oh, thank you just so much. I mean, I could cry, yani. Nafeel ni kama hata jani yangu haijaanza bado, but nafeel ni kama I have already so much to be grateful and thankful for. So thank you so, so much for listening mpaka mwisho. I'm so happy. In short, I'm just so happy. I feel like I'm saying so much, but I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy. Oh, I'm just so happy. But unfortunately, that leads me to the end of this episode. And I'm interested to know what the year was like for all of you guys. So please engage me, comment, let me know what kind of struggles you went through. Let me know what kind of a year you had. A year? Yeah. Yeah, what kind of year you had. What did you achieve? How do you feel about your year? How do you feel about, getting into now 2023? Or of course you're already here, but yeah, how do you feel? How does it feel? What does life look like for you right now? Yeah, engage na mimi please. Nataka nijue at least, si mi pekee nilikuwa broke. Si mi pekee nimeparara. Yeah. And on that note, I'm gonna have to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I know I've said this. Oh gosh, I feel like 70% of my episode has just been just thanking people. But yeah, thank you so much for listening through until the end. I hope that you have loved this episode, and I hope that you have subscribed. Juko umefika hadi hapa mwisho. Tena acha niseme tena. Please support me, support us. You can find us also on social media pages. We are on Instagram and TikTok as Black Grey White Podcast, and I'm just so grateful. Please comment, engage with me, share to your friends, like this episode too. It will really help me a lot, and yeah, I'm so grateful. So up until next week, mushinda vizuri na Mungu aweke vyema. Bye. Mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.